pick, and they get first-round picks next year and the next year from San Francisco. So now it's interesting because San Francisco's in the NFC, Dolphins in the AFC. Teams generally, when you make these blockbuster deals, you'd like it to be in somebody else's neighborhood. You don't want somebody coming back to burn you. This is a massive deal. So Adam Schefter says Niners are holding on to Jimmy G. No plans to trade him. Oh, God, I love the NFL. So the Dolphins, who already had picks, they're sticking with Tua. They're going to get the 12 pick. You know, I mean, there is a chance they could get a quarterback at 12. My guess is they'll all be taken by then. So San Francisco's getting up to you're not trading up to that pick for an offensive lineman. So San Francisco's taking a quarterback. They're not. Sam Darnold remains sad and lonely in his apartment in New York. Nobody going after Sam Darnold. So you don't make this move unless you're going to get a quarterback. So San Francisco's drafting a quarterback.
It's very dramatic news.
God, I love. You know how many times we've had breaking news on the show?
I know, it's crazy. Just this off season alone. This has a lot of repercussions, this trade.
All right, I mean, it's a lot of different things. Number one, Miami's going with Tua.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Number two, Jimmy G's last year in San Francisco. This is
Absolutely. I mean, this is ripple effects on other teams in the draft as well, who are trying to probably move up for that spot.
Well, and listen, I don't blame San Francisco. Like Jimmy G, I said it the other day, 4 times, Joey, he has started the season as a quarterback for a team. 3 of the 4 he couldn't get through September. Like, they're just done doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously capable of leading a team to the Super Bowl and playing well in that. But that high level matched with his inability to stay healthy brings him to a middle-of-the-road quarterback. Like, it balances out. You can't plan your future around a guy that you don't know is going to be available.
All right, I need to...
you need to process this? Yeah, I have to toss this around as well.
We have to process stuff. I mean, if you were at work and all of a sudden, something crazy happened, you just have to go back into the back room and sit there and...
Well, I think
Can we smoke cigars in here? Do I need to process?
Yeah. We need a scotch to kind of settle this down.
All right, San Francisco's going after a quarterback. So it's going to go Trevor Lawrence, probably Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance, but I like them both. I know that all 4 aren't going to work. One of them's not going to work, but the thing is, I can make an argument for all of them move well. So that's football. So, like, all of them move well.
Well, if they're going to stick with Jimmy G and you take Trey Lance, he doesn't have to play right away.
Yeah. I like Trey Lance. All right. Take a breath. God, America's good. America's good. Being at home, we've had a lot of time to discuss and focus on areas in our life that we've long thought about improving, but we just didn't get to it. How about improving the protein in your diet? I had some good chicken last night. Butcher Box delivers that protein overnight to your door. Go to their website. All sorts of recipes. They have 20 different cuts of meat. And they partner with folks who believe in going above and beyond when it comes to caring for animals, the environment, and sustainability. That's why they have 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, free-range organic chicken, heritage breed pork, fresh-caught seafood. 20 different cuts of meat. So sign up for ButcherBox today, butcherbox.com/herd. Limited time, free ground beef for the life of your membership. That's right, 2 pounds of free ground beef. That's a lot of hamburgers in every box for the life of your membership. All you have to do is sign up at butcherbox.com/herd, HERD. The Seahawks did re-sign Carlos Dunlap last night. Team still making moves. It's the Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. Joy is from Pittsburgh, and so she understands Pittsburgh. And this story today that Art Rooney II said yesterday, we're bringing back Ben. That was always our goal. And it's interesting. We were just talking about nostalgia.
Right.
And I was thinking about this. And so the Saints and the Steelers were the 2 teams that had old quarterbacks about to retire, and the Saints have a plan, and the Steelers don't. And it wasn't like there wasn't... I mean, in 2018, you got a heads up. Ben led the NFL in picks. In 2019, he gets hurt. This year, he was bad at the end of the season. But nostalgia is really powerful. And when you get a quarterback that perfectly fits your city and your culture, it is hard to let go. Carson Wentz is a small-town kid. He never felt like Philadelphia. Aaron Rodgers dates celebrities. He doesn't feel like Wisconsin. Jared Goff's a great kid, but he's so quiet and reserved. He never felt like L.A. You know, I've said, does Russell Wilson feel like Seattle? But Ben feels like Pittsburgh. He looks like Pittsburgh. He's a little scruffy. He's a tough guy. He works hard. His off season is beers and a yoga class, and people celebrate it, and camping and hanging out with his family. And I do think when the quarterback fits, I mean, like I always felt Kobe felt like Los Angeles. Kobe was smart, and he was international, and he was into fashion, and he was in, I mean, Kobe felt, I never lived in a city where the star athlete felt like the city. Eli Manning never felt like New York. He was Southern. He never felt. Jeter felt like the Yankees. Good looking, the lifelong bachelor. He was clutch. He was cool. Like Jeter felt like New York. Big Ben feels like Pittsburgh. And I think it's really, really hard to let that go. And I mean, listen, the Steelers still have a great pass rush and great wide receivers, but it does feel like they're sort of hanging on to a bygone era where you have the three teams in their division. Cleveland is ascending and has a great young core, and Cincy's ascending and has a great young core, and Baltimore's ascending and they have a great young core. Pittsburgh feels like the O-line's old, Ben is old, some of their schemes are old, but I think it's tough for them. I do think it's tough. I think Pittsburgh's in a situation where, and they've always been, as Joy said, you're from Pittsburgh. It's a very loyal city where if you are from Pittsburgh, I mean, Dave Wannstedt used to coach there, and, you know, he says he still goes to the same bars and has the same beers and cigars with the same friends. That's what Pittsburgh is, and Big Ben symbolizes that, and it's hard to let go.
They're also living a lot off of reputation and not reality. Like it's a lot of loyalty, but it's also like, oh, the Steelers are tough and run the ball and defense, and they're a good defense, but they definitely do not run the ball.
Yeah, and
it's become more of a finesse team.
Yes,
overall, and that's not what the Steelers do. So they're having a bit of an identity crisis as well.
Well, there is no identity crisis in college basketball. There's 16 teams left. The Pac-12 has owned the tournament. Now, remember, Pac-12 games are on later, so people out east have, and I don't blame them, they just don't see the Pac-12 much. This weekend, you have like USC, Oregon playing. You have teams that played in the season. It feels like a conference tournament to some degree, and Andy Enfield is now coaching his 8th year at USC. He made a great run when he was at Florida Gold Coast. Remember that? And now, Gulf Coast, and now he's at USC. He is joining us live. You know, when I look at this, having lived out west most of my life, I know that when I lived out east, I didn't watch a lot of Pac-12 basketball or football because I go to bed. And when you look at the Pac-12 success, Andy, do you believe the conference was potentially just kind of overlooked by the committee?
Well, I agree with you. It is overlooked. I grew up in Pennsylvania, Colin, so similar to what you said, I never watched a USC or an Oregon basketball game growing up. I watched the ACC Big East. I was asleep before the Pac-12 ever came on TV. So I do think the time change, the difference is a big detriment to just the exposure the Pac-12 gets on a national scale from not only the casual fan, but also the media. And the selection committee, I think, they probably underseeded some of the Pac-12 teams, as you see, for advancing to the Sweet 16. But we're just happy that the league is getting the proper exposure now. And we're really happy for the other teams in the Sweet 16 as long as USC.
You know, it's interesting, Andy, you know this because of Florida Gulf Coast, is that it's weird in college basketball that sometimes chemistry